Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and to another Whip Along. So Crochet Buddy Whip Along. So this is the blanket that I've been working on, and this is how far I have now got with it. So we've on the pink row, and we've gone all through the blue and the purple and then the mauvey colours all the way to pink. And now this is how much I've got left. So I've got my second cake and I want to use the pink. So I want to just, rather than start blue again, I want to go from the pink out. And then I'm going to use the blues and maybe the purples and blues to do the border. So I'm going to try my best to use my Wool Genie because, if you wonder what that was, my computer was just telling me my video is cooking, basically. So it should stay because it does hold quite a lot, but these are 225 grams. So that's quite a bit. That's a bit of a challenge, really, to see if it will stay. So here we go. I've moved my chair up as far as I can. I'm getting lots of error messages come up. Hang on a second, guys. I've got glasses on the wrong side of my hair. Here we are. So that's that. Okay. So excuse the chins. They are getting smaller, but not small enough yet. Right, here we go. What have we here? Okay. Undone too much, but never mind. Okay, so how are you guys? What are you doing? What are you working on? Lots of good stuff, I hope. So I would have hoped to have done some more of these by now. But, I don't think I did. Yes, I did. Did too. But yeah, I've been so busy and just things have just not worked out. And I really want to get this done so I can get a tutorial done for it. Not really seeing a great deal, are you? There's not much I can do. I can't really go down any lower. I can maybe go down lower. There we are. That's better, isn't it? Nice view of my neck, which is not the nicest looking neck since my operation, but never mind. Can't really do much about that. But hopefully, once I lose even more weight, it will shrink a bit more. And it might just look worse. Who knows? But I don't know for sure. But yeah, I've been on this low carb diet for a little while. And well, I got on the scales today and I'd lost about 4 pounds, 3.5 to 4 pounds. I'm not sure exactly, but I'd had a bit of a plateau. But I kind of do have these plateaus when where's my end? Right, it's got to be here somewhere. Aha. So yeah, it does happen when I lose weight. I tend to lose a chunk and then I just stick for a bit and then I lose a chunk. And all the time that I'm sticking, I'm aware of like inches, losing inches rather than chunks of weight. But it can be disheartening, and I have been known to fold and just come off it because it didn't think it was working. But it happens every time. It's just the way that my body kind of works. It just loses a bit and then stops and annoys me. But I had one bit of good news today. Am I going to take them with me? Yeah, I think I might. Yeah, I had no, maybe I won't do it like that though. Just ignore me a sec. So yeah, I had a mammogram last week, and it turns out that it's all clear. So that's good. No, and nothing untoward there. If you wonder what I'm doing, I am working my yarn in as I go because I really just hate and loathe and despise like working in ends. So it's little things that I've developed over the years. Now I did do a video on it, and then if it was like crazy, I know, but Bella Coco went and did one very similar afterwards. A lot of my subscribers were not happy because it was obviously just something that I'd done, and they weren't happy about it. But yeah, I have done a video on how I work my ends in as I go, and it depends on what stitch I'm doing and what project it is as to whether how I do it. But I kind of take the yarn with me, and it's just odd, really, I guess. But it's just, I hate sewing in ends, so it's just little things that I've come up with over the years. So if I give those ends a little tug, they disappear nicely inside that work. You can't really see where they are. And what I'll do is I'll get, after I've finished, I will go back the other way. I'll put a darning needle and I'll make sure that they get hidden, because obviously I don't want them coming out. Now, I can't remember what I was doing at the ends. What was I doing at the end? How can I look? Yeah, that is a stack, I'm sure of it. We shall see if it is not. And yeah, I think it is. And a chain space. Okay, I'm sure it is. You know what's the trouble when you don't do something for ages, and you just look at it and think, what was I doing there? But I didn't intend for it to be as long as it has been. Well, this Wool Genie is coping quite nicely. Unbelievable that it would take that amount of weight in a cake. I'm really quite gobsmacked, really, that it's doing so well. Just thought it's really strong, the magnets on these things. And I have to say, I pilfered it from my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk. I did buy myself one initially, and I thought, oh, I'll stock these. I liked them so much, and I used them so often, really, that I ended up getting a few more out, because when you can run a couple of colours. And sometimes you might want to run 2 yarns into one. Perfect for that. But so what I did was I decided that the spare bases and spindles, I would do them separately as well for anyone who wanted them. I love this stitch. It's really nice. And it's very easy to do once you're, underway. The only problem I have is that the yarn has some wool in it. And the only way I can get away with using this is to have a nice break after doing it. So that way I don't overdo. Hang on. I see a mistake. I've got to frog it, guys. We need to frog, because that one there I didn't do right. First mistake I've made in a very long time. And I even worked over on my end as well. Very annoying. How did that happen? I think the last time I did it, I was watching TV and I was getting very tired. And that's the only way I can, where is it? There. See, it's the only thing I can think of is that I did actually get too tired. And anyway, we're there now. Let's just check out the whole of this. Yeah. Okay, so what I did when I think Gary's on the phone. It's maybe, unless there's a ghosty. Must have hung up. He's not speaking. He's doing hello again. You'll probably hear his conversation. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that, oh yeah, because we're going out later. So I wanted to make sure of the arrangements. So I'm now working over those tails again, working them in. And got rid of my blunder. Happens to us all. The trouble is, we do that all the time, don't we? Oh, just one more row. I'm going to leave that to tuck back in again. Yeah, just one more row before I go to bed. Just one more row. And I obviously was far too tired to do that one more row. Never mind. At least I spotted it. And I hadn't gone too far before I noticed an error. So yeah, Gary's brother's birthday today. So this evening we're going for a meal with them and his friends and Gary's other brother. And then tomorrow during the day, his daughter's in a performance, so we're going to watch her. We were going to have a meal at that point, but we're not now because we're doing it this evening. So let me just check this. So that was one. Yeah, I'm doing it right. That's good. Fine. I don't need that chain though. Okay, we're back on track. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I told you now. I had a mammogram. Did I tell you that? And the results came back clear, so that's good. And told you I lost weight, I think, didn't I? I think there's much else to tell you, actually. The weather's been a bit weird. Very weird, in fact. It's we had real kind of monsoon rainy season weather yesterday. It's been nice and sunny today, but not as hot as it was. I think it's more like the seasonal norm now. You know, it's just spring-like. Oh, I don't even know if British summertime has begun. I don't think so. But, you know, Wimbledon will be on soon, so no doubt it'll be raining again. Always brings the rain with it, does Wimbledon. So how are you? What have you been doing and what are you working on? I did have a nice cup of tea. I've been drinking this new tea. It's called Sticky Toffee flavoured tea. And it's the same, if you know that I drink the biscuit tea, it's the same brand. It's Yorkshire tea. And it's in the same kind of range as the biscuit tea. But it is absolutely gorgeous. And it's better even than the biscuit tea. So I've been drinking more of that than I have the biscuit tea. I do drink both of them, but I've got really into the sticky toffee biscuit tea. So they've got also a Victoria sponge biscuit tea, and I've not found it. I've seen a box on Amazon. Well, I've seen the box, but they didn't have any. They just sort of had it out of stock at the side of it. I think it's so new that they've not really put it in the shops yet. But whenever I see the sticky toffee, make sure I buy quite a few boxes because as it's new, the distribution's not that great. I do have some in my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk, but I didn't put much in there because I don't want to run out myself. It's just so good. Oh man, it's really lovely. I absolutely love it. So I've been drinking that, and this one is an electrolyte drink because with the low carb diet, I find that now, as I've got a little older, I'm past 21. I'm okay. I know I'm not. I get cramp, whereas I never used to. I used to get a little muscle stiffening, but it didn't have any cramp associated with it. Now I actually do get cramps. So I take magnesium and I make sure I have enough salt, potassium and magnesium, and that electrolyte drink has all of those in. So I have that amongst other things that will boost it, stop me from getting cramp, because it's horrible, isn't it, cramp? So yeah, that does look really nice in the pink. I love this stitch. So I keep getting asked, and yes, I will be doing a tutorial very soon for it. I only have to do a little bit more of this. And I did make a note somewhere of my stitch count and all that stuff. So yeah, I will be doing it. And I don't know whether to edge it after I've edged it in the blue. Why have I got... Something's gone on. Oh, it's fine. Wound up around the bottom. When I've done this colour, or these colours, should I say, and I've got the blanket, the length and width I want, and I do the border in the blues and maybe mauves in the blues, I don't know. I don't know whether to do a bit in white as well, because sometimes that really does set it off, a little bit edging in white. But there are times when I look at that and I think, does that look naff? Does it look kind of old-fashioned doing that? But at the same time, I want it to look as nice as possible. So what would you do? Would you put some white around the edge as well as the colours? I mean, I have done that in the past where I've kind of had a section of the colours and then the white and then the section of the colours again. So I could try and maybe do that. And what kind of border would you put on this sort of stitch? Would you put a shell border or what? It's lovely straight edges though. But then that's because of the no turning chain. I really do that all the time now. So this pink section is going to be wider than the others, but I think the blue was quite wide. So that won't look untoward, I don't think. I think it should be fine. Is it already purpling? No, it looked like it was mauve under that light, but no, it's still pink. So I was watching the other day, I saw something pop up from Crystal from Bag a Day, and she was talking about these ailments that she has for in her hands and her elbow that kind of prevent her from crocheting. I can't think that there must be anything worse than, you know, not being able to do that when you have your channel and everything else. It's been such a big part of her life. It, you know, it isn't nice. I had similar kind of thoughts when I had my operation, when I had my cancer, because I thought, what if I can't speak clearly or make myself understood? What if I have a speech impediment that means I don't really want to do the channel anymore? But as luck would have it, the exercises I did and all the extra ones made sure I didn't have it. And I did, at one point, after I came out of hospital, I had a drooping mouth, and there was a possibility that could have stayed, and I could have had kind of palsy on one side, but luckily that came back. The nerves, they said they can't be sure if the nerves would be damaged and would come back or not, but thank goodness I didn't have any of that. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're talking about a cancer that's going to kill you, you take what you can get, really, in terms of, you know, being around. If it's going to mean a case of life and death, you take life. But, you know, nobody wants those kind of deficits, they call them. Nobody wants to have them. But, you know, it's better than the alternative. I know. Anyway, enough of that. Cheerful subject coming up. Going on holiday soon. And this time, it's not a cruise. We're going to Cornwall. First off, we're going to Tintagel and Port William. We want to see that area and the statue of the king, which is King Arthur. And we're staying at Camelot Castle, so that should be fun. Only doing one night in Camelot Castle because it's not cheap. And so then we're going to see Jamie. Oh, hang on. Split that yarn there, and it was a bit thin, so we'll do that again. So yeah, we're going to go and see Jamie, which is Gary's son, and he lives in Cornwall. We don't get to see him very often. I think he was supposed to come at Christmas and he couldn't get time off from work, and so we didn't see him. But it'd be nice to go and see him. I really must speak to my neighbour and find out if she can feed the cat. And before we do go on holiday, I've got to go pick my grandson Harley up from school on Friday and have him for the weekend. So that's going to be nice to see him. Yeah, so lots going on around here. But it's going to be a hell of a drive. That's the only thing, to go to Cornwall, because it's quite a long way in Cornwall, not just the first bit you come to. So yeah, lots of trips to look forward to. Where he lives, it's not too far from where they filmed the series Poldark, and all of the coastline there is where they actually filmed Poldark. And if you watched it and you saw those rugged cliffs and the beautiful sea and the views, that was it. And there's this one place, it's called Charlestown, and they have all of the ships that they had in Poldark docked there. They're it's a wet dock, but it's not in the sea. It's walled off, but it's got water in it, and that's where they are. And it's when they were filming, obviously they made it look like they are seaworthy, but really they were just there. It's very, very good, well done. Around there as well, they've got lots of memorabilia and lots of products, like they sell fudge called Poldark fudge, or they've got Poldark scrumpy and all sorts. So yeah, we did actually have some of that when we went before, and they did like a Bailey's Irish cream. They do one made with the, I don't know if it's a fudgy one or whatever, but they do that there as well. And we bought some of that for Gary last time we were there. But yeah, and of course, roundabout where that is, there's this real ancient building in the stone kind of work. And it's a tiny little place, but it was a rum shack. Gary fell in love with that rum shack. So I dare say I want to go back. And it made him want to have one. He wants us to get a kind of a similar building by the sea and turn it into a rum shack and do that. He often thinks about, can't we get a bank loan and just do that rum shack? But one of these days, maybe. We'll see. Hope I'm recording. Yep, I am. I did worry because sometimes I sit here and I babble away to myself and I look up and it's not recording, and you just think, oh, I sat there and spoke to myself. No, not really. I haven't done that for a long time. I've been a bit more on the ball. But there have been times where I thought I'd press the button and obviously not pressed it hard enough and didn't work. Thankfully, not so many mistakes these days. I'm really loving this pink. It's a real baby pink. It's a lovely colour. And this stitch, doesn't it look nice that way round? Oh, it does. I like it that way round. I might have to do this stitch into a cowl, a scarf and a cowl. I've really gone into this. This is very nice. Like it a lot. Definitely. See some Christmas stuff coming out in this colours. This stitch. Be perfect for making gifts, I think. So it's getting very heavy. It's pulling itself down, but quite a way to go yet, I think. A bit more anyway. I think we'll start on the purple and then it'll be time to edge it in blue. That's what I think really will happen with these colours. We get the lilac first. Only I'd want to make sure, obviously, that I've got enough for the border. I've only got 2 cakes of this, so I can't afford any losing at Yarn Chicken. I've got other colours though. Gary bought me 3 sets of 2, and the others I think are out in the Yarnavan on my cubbies. I'll sort that out one of these days. In fact, I've been doing these things last chance yarns. In fact, there they are. That's my latest ones. And I've been making space because where I have bought so much yarn, I was having to stack it. So in the beginning, I just had it on the shelves, but I got so much I had to stack those in the corner and stack them in front of the stack and stack another stack in front. So when I went to fulfill orders, it would always be what they call sod's law, that the one I want would be the one right at the back, and I'd have to move all of those boxes in all of the stacks to get at it. So I wanted it so that it would go back on the shelves, and I wouldn't have all that. And I also need to work out my own stuff that I've got out there and go through it, maybe get rid of some of it. And part of it is my clothes that I've used to have that I didn't want to get rid of because I liked them and I wanted to get back into them. So that's what this diet is all about. I don't think I'm anywhere near them yet though, guys. But, you know, once you get past 25, all right, I know I'm not. Once you get past a certain age, it becomes harder, much harder, to actually lose any weight. So yeah, I think a nice pink large section will be good because I had a large blue section. I know that's kind of two-tony blue or ombre, but that I think will work out really good. I think it will. I've got hair, hang on. Straightened it today, and when I had it cut last, I had it cut on the ship that I was on, and he made this shorter, but he didn't do this side as short as this, so I'm not liking the fact that it's uneven. But you know, a couple of days ago, I actually toyed with the idea of having it all cut off and going sort of just past my shoulders. And when I mentioned it to, well, the person I was talking to, they were like, why on earth would you do that? And so my answer was, you know, when it's sunny and warm and humid and your hair gets fluffy, can you imagine it on this scale? And it was really a challenge when we had the heat wave and it was hot, and all I did was tie it back and put it up in a kind of a bun knot, and a knotty bun, you know what I mean, and plaits, you know, just to get rid of it because it was too hot to have hair. But you know, it's not always that hot, is it? And I do like it long, and I do like the fact that it is longer than it has ever been in my entire life. Well, possibly not at this precise moment in time because I had the cut, but it was longer than it had ever been in my entire life. So I didn't really want to cut it because for me it's an achievement. You know, I couldn't get it to go past the sort of horizontal bra strap before. That was its limit. It would never get any longer than that. Hang on. Hello there. So yeah, it's nice to for it to be different because, you know, I've not been able to do it before. I have no idea why it should suddenly work out for me, and it never did before. It's a bit odd, but I don't know. I have no idea, guys, what I'm going to wear tonight. It's not a nightclub or anything. It's just a meal. So I'll go have a look soon. I've got things, obviously, that I took on the holiday with us. So I do have evening clothes, and I do have some of my summery tops that would be okay. But I have no idea what to wear right at this precise moment in time. And I've got operations soon. I have a chalazion on my eye that will not go. I had two, one on each eye, but the one on my left eye, it was there for too long before I got the right treatment. I went to one of those walk-ins because it was weekend, and the silly people gave me sort of drops which don't really help. They run out of your eye. It should have been like an ointment. So the one on the right side went quickly, but the other one was already established, and it's not going to go unless it's removed. So I had an appointment. And they booked me in for this procedure, which I am really, really dreading. But it's on the 24th of June. And that's the day before my son's birthday. So the only thing that kind of, these things hang over me, and I always think by the time I do that with Paul, it'll be over. You know, I always think that by the time this happens, it'll be over. It's my way of kind of trying to ease myself, but I'm not looking forward to it in the slightest. I mean, you wouldn't, would you? Just wouldn't. No one's going to say, oh, I can't wait to have my eye cut, you know. Can't wait. I certainly can. The other day I had a really sharp pain in it, and it stung. It was like, it was really kind of caught me. And it looked smaller. Gary said, do you think it's going on its own? And I said, I don't like to think that because it's been smaller a few times. And then the next time I look, it's back. And it never went, so it's not going to spare me. Got to be removed. So, you know, the upshot of that is I do wear makeup from time to time to try and hide it, but it's hard to hide. It's just not really something you can hide. So I won't be kind of plastering myself in a lot of makeup tonight. I don't know if maybe wearing makeup caused it. Not that I wear it very often, but maybe what I had was too old, perhaps. I don't know if that is a thing or if it just is unlucky. Wowza, there we go. Look at that. Getting there. But it's quite wide, so it needs to be longer. Do you know, I'm starting to worry that I won't have enough for the border if I'd use like quite a lot on the length. Oh, I'm sure it'll work out. Didn't plan this. Not really. Just thought I'll use those cakes. And winging it. Are you a wing it sort of person? Or do you plan things out with your yardage and make sure you've got adequate, if not more, than you need? Or are you, oh, I'll make it, it'll work, wing it sort of person? Unfortunately, I'm a wing it person. You know, very rarely do I think, have I got enough of this? Usually it works out. Just by looking at it, I kind of think there's enough there, and there usually turns out that there is. But, yeah. I might be unlucky, you never know. One time. Hopefully not this time. Oh, it's so hard when it pulls it down. Hang on. Are you attached? Yes, you are. It's really hard when it pulls it down. It's so heavy. Just tuck it under my arm. I'm getting thirsty. I have to have tea soon. I don't think Gary's being very telepathic. Can't hear the kettle on. He was out there doing a jigsaw, and he had it was a really difficult one. It was just a coloured skyline, but he really has got on with it. Gary's very good at jigsaw puzzles. He's very quick at them. He's very, very good at pattern recognition. There we are. So, looking lovely, I think. I really, really like this. Look at that stitch. Isn't it beautiful? Right. Bit more. We'll do a bit more. I wonder what he's doing at clonking about. I bet he's finished his jigsaw puzzle and got nothing else to do now. So if I keep thinking, make the tea, Gary, make the tea, Gary, do you think it'll work? I don't hear the kettle. I need psionic abilities. I need to hone these psionic abilities to get inside Gary's head and make him do my will. Make the tea, Gary. Can't hear the kettle say, it ain't working. It's not working. So it's Formula One this weekend. And Monaco, my least favourite of all tracks. It's just the most boring race on the calendar. And I don't honestly know why they rave about it so much in the Formula One kind of camp. The only thing I can think of is that because it stinks of money, it's the prestige of being like Monaco. But it's such a skinny track. There's very little overtaking, if any. The person who works on pole position usually is the one who wins. Failing car breaks down or comes a cropper on a corner. You know, it's just so boring. I hate really watching Monaco. And every time it's on, I say, I'm not watching Monaco next year. I'm going to bother. We'll just leave that one. It's rubbish. And we all thought that they would take it off when it came up for renewal, and they didn't. They kept it. And I'm sure it's the money thing. Probably got, you know, a sweetener for keeping it there. Because it's all about money, Formula One. It's all it really boils down to. But then again, that's sport, isn't it now? Even football, which was, you know, once upon a time, the working man's sort of game. Now the prices of the gates are ridiculous. And, you know, I think that's true as well in the US because I remember I was talking to one of my subscribers, I think, and they said that they loved to go to the game. And it might have been American football they were talking about or baseball or something, I don't know. And they said but it was so expensive that they didn't bother going anymore. And that's exactly how a lot of people have been saying about football. When I say football, you know, if you're from the rest of the world, I mean soccer, because, you know, to us it's not called that. We don't say soccer. We say football. And what you guys call football, we wouldn't, because there's not an awful lot of feet in it. There's more more hands than feet in your football. It's a bit like our rugby. Did you know that rugby and football started off the same game? Yeah, I remember when one of my kids, I think it was Paul, had homework, and it was the history of football, and it was like he couldn't do it, and I didn't want to do it, and he said, "Would I do it for him?" So give us it. So I looked up. I made him write it all out in his handwriting so that he knew what the context was. But yeah, it started off as the same game, but some schools, it was mostly schools like a public school where they were playing it. Some were using their hands and some weren't, and in the end they decided to standardize it and put rules in it, and those who wanted to continue using their hands, they had to call it something else, so it became rugby football instead of soccer football. But yeah, it's not something we ever say, soccer. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Watched a program about David Beckham yesterday, speaking of soccer, football. It was something like 10 photos of David Beckham that tell a story or something. And it went from him being in kids football and then getting sort of spotted by Manchester United at a young age and getting signed, and then being sort of almost like boy band good looks and being picked up by places like Brill Cream to advertise their stuff, and then meeting Victoria Adams, becoming Posh and Bex. So yeah, it was interesting, and they did touch on the rift with Brooklyn and all of that, but only briefly touched upon it. But yeah, it's kind of forget really how much like a boy band member he actually did look. At one point, he was very, very similar looking to Ronan Keating. Really did look like that. We haven't got any good looking footballers now, you know that. Saying to Gary the other week, you know, back in the day, the footballers used to have kind of like looks like David Beckham or, you know, other good looking footballers. I can't remember any at this precise moment in time. What have we got now? You know, there's a bunch of gargoyles now, really. Very few are actually. I feel sorry for Wags. Used to be that Wags would get a bit of a stud muffin, but what they got now? Gargoyle muffins. You know, you got to feel sorry for the Wags who are in it for the money, haven't you? Not. Oh, I am being, what's the word? Cynical, aren't I, that they're in it for the money? Well, how else do you kind of account for really kind of grim looking footballers suddenly having beauty queens on their arm? You know, I know it's their personalities, isn't it? It's the personality that attracts them, of course. And I dare say there's maybe one or two that there is. But did you know that Declan Rice, he is not shallow in the slightest. He might be one of the best footballers in this country right now, but he doesn't have a wag. He has his kind of childhood sweetheart who's chubby, and he shows her off at every opportunity he can get and is proud of her. And, you know, the papers have filmed them and photographed them and sort of said about chubby, you know, but he's not perturbed by this. He likes her the way she is, which is really lovely. Good on Declan, that's what I say. Okay. Another row done. How long have I been babbling away for? I mustn't babble away for too long. But we're coming to the end of the pink. I've got one more row in the pink, I think. And then we've got two-tone. See? That has really surprised me how well that has stayed on there. That's over 200 grams. And I didn't think that that would be that good, honestly. It's 225 grams and it's stayed stuck like it's just a 100-gram ball. It's really good. That's brilliant. I think it's easier because these are the short fat cakes. I've had tall cakes where it doesn't do as well, but then that's because it's too much action at the top, I think. But I've definitely had 200-gram big balls on there and they've not had any problems staying stuck on. But that is pretty good, I have to say. I'm really impressed with it. And of course, you know, the Wool Genies are fabulous. The plastic ones that don't look particularly sophisticated, just this plastic thing, that is the best one out of all of them. The actual original plastic and metal Wool Genie. You get all these fancy wood ones and everything else, but that one, that is the one that is the best out of all of them. Don't have that many left, I don't think, in my shop. Not sure how many I've got. I have to do a stock take, really, because I need to keep that up to date. After all, I did say I pilfered from it, which is true. Wowza. It's heavy, man. I've got messages coming in, and I don't know why, because this what I'm recording on is not my phone. I don't know where my phone is at this precise moment in time. Might be behind me, I don't know. But it's not what I'm recording on. It's just weird, man, weird. Somebody mentioned about me crocheting really fast, but I don't think this is fast. I know it's not slow, but when I need to get a rush on, I can really go some. But I don't think when I do this, people say, I need to crochet fast, but I don't feel like this is fast at all. I think this is just a browsy speed, a browsy speed, you know, just a comfy speed. But, you know, there's an awful, I was a bit, you know, when I said about Bag a Day, she holds hers like mine, I believe. She's not one of those knife holders. And I always thought that those kind of holds, the knife hold, not the pen hold like myself, are the ones that do more of the repetitive movements and therefore more prone to get repetitive strain. Because when I've seen people crocheting really fast like this, oh, that wobbled my bingo wings. Wouldn't suit me to do it that way. But you know what I mean? I always think that that's far too much repetitive movements. For me, it's just a little bit of hand movements, all you get. Don't even move my elbow, really, just my fingers. And that's it. So I always think that there's way less repetitive movements in what I do. But she definitely has some kind of repetitive injury there. But then, you know, you don't really know what causes these things. It's a condition that she's got. I've never heard of it. It's not a well-known one. Anyway, guys, this end of this row, I'm going to stop. Oh, got a tufty bit. It's not, it's just a bit that's kind of unwound. I don't think it's going to, no, that's fine. Managed to get it in there, that's fine. It's not going to cause any But we are changing colour. Look at that. We are purpling. A little bit of mauving in our pink. I would have liked it to have gone completely to the end of the colour, but never mind. Can't have everything. Don't always get what you want. So guys, if you're still with me, because I know many of you like to watch a nice long whip along, what would you like to see me put on? Is there a stitch tutorial that you really want? Is there a motif that you would really like, or a project that you would really like? I can't say for sure that I will do them, but I'd like some suggestions, please, if that's all right by you. So if you give me some suggestions, I think two's kind of, crazy, but I will do my best, because at the moment I've got quite a bit going on, like the holiday and everything else. But after that, I've got a nice stint of stay at home. So there we go. It is now like a giant square. So a bit more of that lilac colour. We're on this colour. Bit more of that, and it will ombre out to this. And then I think get to here, and that on top of this length will be enough, and the blue will go around, hopefully enough to go round a couple of times. So that's my plan. I'm really loving this. It's going to be a beautiful blanket, I think. Anyway, guys. Oh, hang on. Let's do this. Hey, there you are. Hang on a minute. Let's get my chair down. Woo! There we go. Oh, hair. So there. Okay. Let's have my glasses off. So yeah, I've just noticed that my equipment is about ready to go. I need to be charged up. So it's a good job I'm stopping now. But yeah, thanks for spending some time with me and having another whip along crochet buddy. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.